Alrighty. Woohoo! Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Transformational Tuesday. Tonight, or shall I say today? Okay. Miss Elle, why don't you go ahead and give them a wave, Miss Elle? Say hello.
Hello.
We're going to dive into a story about turning endings into beautiful new beginnings. Our guest Elle is a talented writer, she's a podcaster, and a certified medication guide whose passion after hours is helping women reclaim peace, self love, and purpose. Though her guided journal, Today I Choose Me, and her weekly meditation Monday practices, Elle encourages women to ground themselves in stillness and strength. You may also know her from her podcast, Single Girl Woes, mm, where dating disasters and meet glow up moments, or from her upcoming poetry collection, To the Woman I Am Becoming, a deeply personal reflection of healing after divorce and stepping into a season of joy. One fun fact about Elle is she believes every day deserves a little ritual, whether it's a moment of stillness, a fresh playlist, or the perfect snack board. How beautiful is that? So grab your journal and make sure y'all grab y'all too, y'all, because I got mine. Okay. And your open hearts, because today, we're exploring what it means to choose you again. Let's welcome Elle to Transformational
Yeah.
Tuesday. I love doing those introductions. They're so fun to me to like vibe out with what you do versus what I do. So I love it so much. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the beginning of your journey, and I'm gonna start with the question of before today I chose me in single girl woes. What did life look like for you?
It was chaos. It was like
Yes,
trying to find the calm in the midst of a lot of chaos.
yes. And can you share a little bit about where you were emotionally before your transformation story began?
Before the transformation for me began, I was a little bit all over the place. I call it like an emotional roller coaster. There were good days, bad days, happy days, days crying for no reason, just a hot mess.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you on that. And what was one of your biggest like challenges that you faced navigating the transition from marriage to rediscovering yourself after the divorce?
Not to be bitter, I meet and it's like amazing how sometimes people get placed upon your path. And when I was going through my divorce, I was meeting other people that were at different stages of divorce, some the same as me, some had been divorced for a while. And the one thing that was common is that they were all bitter and they all identified as being a divorced person. That's how they led. And I quickly learned, like, I did not want that to be me. I did not want to become bitter towards love. I did not want to regret love again, and knew that I just needed to accept that this is a part of my life, a part of my journey, and
Mm-hmm.
not to get stuck there. And out of that is where I started the Today I Choose Me journal and dabbled around for a little bit up until this year with the podcast.
Okay, I like that. How you said a lot of people were like bitter, and you chose like it was a choice that a decision that you made, and you were like, I'm not gonna live my life like that because one
No,
day you will, God willing, find love again, and it's a possibility thing. It's just this is the part of your growth and your season of what you're currently going through. That is so beautiful. Get it, girl.
exactly. I'm a big person on energy. So it's like, when you cloud yourself with like negative thoughts and you lead with that, that automatically entices the other person that you're engaging with to come with negativity. So as much as I can kind of like stop that at the gate, like that's what aspire to do. Now I have my moments, but
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, I try to lead with positivity.
Amen. What so you kind of talked about it a little bit, but you may want to expand on it. What first drew you to meditation, writing, and journaling as outlets for healing?
It brought a sense of calmness to me that, that you don't get and that you sometimes need after the therapy, after the venting sessions with your friends. It created a moment for me just to be still, especially with meditation. It allowed me to just like really clear out my thoughts, clear out my mind, and just stop the inner monologue from going. And there are times where even in meditation, and they teach you that sometimes that inner voice is sometimes helpful. And so those are moments where writing and journaling, have become helpful because then I have to focus on like the topic or what it is that I need to, get out.
Yeah.
But all in all, it just was another outlet for me just to kind of calm and center myself.
Yeah, I like how you said the inner thoughts that like make I would want to say nagging or maybe just not very positive, but you just like kept writing them or start to write it down just so that you can be, I guess, in the moment of being aware of where
Mhm.
you are within that moment, which is okay. It's okay to feel what you are feeling too, as you were whatever you was writing down within your journal.
Yeah, I
So,
had a therapist that told me it's better out than in. And sometimes out is, writing, sometimes it's crying. It's, I look at crying sometimes. I used to think crying was like a sign of weakness, but I have
mm,
learned through like this journey that it's a way of sometimes like cleansing the soul. And sometimes you need that deep cry. And then it's like, okay, I'm better now. And then the same
yeah.
thing with writing and journaling. Sometimes you just need to just get out everything, like all the things that's going on here, just get it out and once it's out, it's like, okay, I feel so much better now.
Yeah. And it's a reminder I think for all of us that crying is definitely not a weakness cuz
Mhm.
I honestly used to think of the same thing. So I'm sure a lot of people can agree with that while they're watching this today. But like, yeah, I would sit there and be like, "No, I'm not going to cry." And I'm like, "But I can't help it." You know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
and then ugly cry too. I'm like, "Dang." And then but I do feel better. It's like a relief or
Yes.
releasing something. So
Exactly.
I love that. Ooh, girl, maybe you should cry a little more. Oh my lord. Okay, let's go on to the turning point portion of this. Was there a defining moment or a quiet? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Or a quiet realization that made you say it's time to choose me?
Um, for me, again, it was coming out of that divorce. And again, like I said before, I was coming across people that were so bitter and I was identifying with them. Like I was that person. So for me, it's like, I'm the type of person like when something constantly comes across my path and everything, like I start to pay attention to it more. And as these people, I'm like, that's me. Like that's not the person that I want to become. And so it just became one of those moments like when I identified that I was starting to be that bitter person, I was like, no, like let's change this. I don't know how we're gonna change this, but
Yeah.
this is not what I want the remainder of my journey and my time here on this good green earth to be being like this bitter, angry woman.
Mm-hmm. And no one should ever want to hopefully not be that way, but I guess sometimes people don't recognize when they are in that state of mind and they
Mhm.
need somebody who knows them well, honestly, or maybe even don't, and just tell them the truth of like, hey, maybe you should get some help or maybe go to someone to talk to about it, or as you mentioned,
Yeah.
just journal on your own so that you can, so that person could recognize that. But
Mhm.
I want to go in a little bit into your about your podcast. How did your podcast Single Girl Woes emerge from that season? Was it therapy, storytelling, or a mix of both?
It was like a little bit of both. I actually started Single Girl Woes in 2019 and it was
Oh.
like so unpolished, so like I was not consistent at all. It was just me in my car and I would just hit record and it would
Ah.
be me on my ride to work venting about everything from having to be single and pump my own gas. Being
Mm-hmm.
single and not having a plus one, like just all of those things. It just was
Mm-hmm.
so it was not routine, no nothing. And this year, again, just in the space that I am now of feeling healed and being happy. One of your previous guests, Jamila, she was launching her podcast, The Messy Middle. And
Mm-hmm.
I just reached out to her and I was like, you just inspired me to just finally kind of just get out my head and do this because like now I'm in a different space in like my journeys. Like, I am
Mm-hmm.
6 years past the divorce. I'm like embracing this space of being single and, just dealing with that and being single while, navigating grief, grief of a loved one, grief of breakup from previous relationships. And so, like, she was my motivation, and I just like buckled down and created like the content calendar. I am 5 episodes in, and each week, like, the feedback from people of like, oh, I can relate to that. I needed to hear this and all of that.
Yeah.
So while it's me being vulnerable and sharing a part of me, it's also
Hmm.
helping other people because they're like, I thought it was only me. And I try to give like little tidbits and just things that I have used to navigate certain spots in my life that relates to certain episodes. And
Yeah.
the feedback has been really, really good. But yeah, I have to give credit to Jamila for just like really giving me that indirect nudge to be like, just do it. Um,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
one of the things that another friend shared with me was like, your audience will find you.
True.
And at the end, I'm having fun doing it. It's like therapy after the therapy
Right.
for
Right.
me.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I love how your connection with Jamila also inspired you. It was like, all right, let me get myself a little more organized. Not that I really wasn't
Yeah.
before, but to be a little more consistent and be
Hmm.
more, I guess, intentional with whatever topic you have a desire to talk about. So I think that's really cool. Y'all really good friends, it sound like, too. So that's
Yeah.
pretty awesome. We know that healing isn't linear. So what helped you stay grounded on the hard days besides the journaling and the medication and stuff?
The thing that keeps me grounded, I mean, again, it just goes back, I mean, the theme of what I've said before, just not wanting to be that bitter person.
Hmm.
Just realizing that, doing healing, it's not, again, healing is not linear. It's not going to be A, B, C, D.
Hmm.
Sometimes you go from A to Z, A to E. Sometimes you start at F and go up to B. And just being able to embrace that, but just knowing that the end goal is to not be a person that harbors on bitterness and
Hmm.
anger. Um, and just trying to be like Zen as positive as I can.
True. Amen. And also, I think that will help other women too, even like me to be more. Not that I'm negative, but sometimes I can be in my head
We all
sometimes.
like we all have
Yeah. Yeah.
those moments. And as much as like again, I'll meditate, I journal. Sometimes it just does not work. And what I have learned, and why I think one of my upcoming podcast episodes is healing is not linear. And one of the things that I've learned in that is that
Mhm.
sometimes it's okay to sit in that space of bitterness and negativity, but not allowing it to prolong for days at a time. So even when I have those moments and nothing has happened, the journaling isn't happened, the meditation has happened, it's like, okay, you have 24 hours. After that,
True.
put your big
True.
girl pants on and just move past it.
Move forward. Let's
But
go.
sometimes part of the process
Yeah.
and part of the healing is sitting in that space because I
Mhm.
do believe in this is something that I learned when I was going through my divorce. Process the emotions as they happen. And sometimes it's going to be a negative space. Everything is not going to always be happy.
Right.
Um, and embracing that has allowed me to just, navigate a lot easier than I was.
Yes. How has your life changed since you began this journey of self rediscovery?
I am happier. I have learned I haven't perfected this one yet, and I don't aim for perfection. I try to aim for like a 75-25 balance because even
Progress
eighty
in general.
twenty
Yeah.
isn't.
Yeah.
But I have learned to relinquish control and not feeling like I have to be in control of every single aspect
Mm.
of my life or decisions. So those have been kind of like the key things that have been really helpful.
That's cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. What's something about yourself today that you're most proud of?
Um, my temper.
Ooh, okay.
My temper and not again being that angry person and just holding on to like anger and learning and accepting my role in certain decisions,
Yeah.
whether it be I was right or wrong, but accepting and owning up to my role in certain situations as they play out.
Hmm. I like that because that's a good reminder too. I now that I reflect on my own personal journey. I'm not gonna get all into it today because this is about you today, girl. Okay. Um, but like I feel like there was a moment, some seasons in my life where I was just mad all the time. And when you talk about to just be to sit there and just feel the feelings, I feel like I was doing that for some time without really realizing it. I was just,
Mhm.
just being me or whatever. But now I feel like obviously I'm just a different person and I'm a lot happier. So it's kind of cool to know someone else who we went through two different things, but we have to process that and
Mhm.
like you said, just sit in it and just be like, all right, I'm just I'm mad. I'm not happy today. But
Yeah.
then I was like, today you're a completely different human, really. You're
Yeah.
still you, but just a new version of you, I guess. You upgraded.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a powerful thing to sit in the angry moments, the bitter moments, because again, it's a part of life. And I mean, you have to address it. You have to feel the feels, as I like to say. You cannot ignore it because ignoring it, it just bottles up and it's gonna spill out. And sometimes that's like when you have like this mass explosion and you're like button heads with people because you've like allowed so much to just build up. So that's something again that I feel the emotions as they're happening.
Yeah, and I even had to heard the example of it was in the elementary realm, but okay, it still worked. Like you're holding your emotions so much in that it's like a bottle that, like you said, end up exploding at some
Mhm.
point. It's just boom. You just like
Yeah.
whoa, what happened? What's going
Uh-huh.
on?
And then
There's
you're trying to
always
process all of that.
yeah, there's always a emotion or whatever's going on under the iceberg. It's like the visual that I have in my head when you say it out loud. So that's really good.
Yeah.
I like that example. So your upcoming poetry collection, To the Woman I Am Becoming,
Yes.
feels deeply personal. How does it capture your evolution from heartbreak to wholeness?
So I have recently started on that. So as I was starting to revamp the Single Girl Woes podcast, I pulled out a journal. I'm a person, I collect journals. I like to have a journal for everything. So I was like, I wanted a book or a journal to like write down my notes and keep everything in for the podcast. And so I just randomly grabbed a journal. And when I opened it, it was stuff already in there. And it was like poetry and short stanzas that I had wrote as I was going through my divorce.
Okay.
And I was like, how timely is it for me to find this as I am like relaunching this podcast? And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, I started to look at it, and it was like, you know, quite a lot in there. So now I'm in the process of like kind of grouping them to different, phases. I kind of look at this journey that I've been on with divorce is like I do, I did, I don't. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
the before the divorce, the during divorce, and then the after divorce. And so that's kind of
Yeah.
how the book is like broken up. But yeah, I'm really excited about that because, again, even though a lot of the inspiration in the poems that'll be in this book was as me going through my divorce and, again, those angry moments,
Yeah.
there's a poem in there that's like, did I make the right decision? Then there's the sitting in the angry space. And then, the end
Mm-hmm.
poem is like the woman I'm becoming, of
Mm-hmm.
embracing kind of like, kind of like the butterfly effect, like, of like, now I'm this beautiful butterfly in this space. So I'm really excited about it. And even reading through some of them, I was like, oh, did I write that? Like I can see in some of them, like, oh, I was so angry. And I can start to see the evolution of like when I accept it, like, okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
this is not me, but this is a part of my journey. And
Mm-hmm.
then even some of the ones, and I've added some newer poems to reflect this space that I'm in now, which is like more happy, more vibrant, more,
Yeah.
self-empowering. So my goal with it, like once it's done, it's not just for women that's coming out of divorce, but like, anybody that's gone through some type of breakup
Right.
or, just kind of change in their lives. So
Are you just curiosity? As you continue to build that, is that something that's going to be on Amazon, or is something that you're going to create your own and sell it on your own and stuff?
So it's gonna be on Amazon. Amazon just, I mean, I know some people like Amazon, some
I
don't. It
don't.
just It's like I toy around with them, but it creates convenience for me because I
Yeah,
don't have to hold inventory. I don't have to worry about going to the mailbox and, all of that
yeah,
stuff. So
I agree with
I
you.
will have it available to start off with on Amazon.
Okay, but it'll be a while before you finish it then? Like, it would just
So my goal is to have it where it comes out the beginning of 2026, um, because it's
okay,
gonna be tied to so my current podcast season goes through the second week of November, and then for the
okay.
month of December,
Mhm.
for the holidays, I'm doing Single Girl Woes, the Advent version. So I'm gonna do a countdown during the holidays, and so this book will be like the wrap up of all of that.
Girl, you make let me know. I believe I add you on I'll find you to remind myself because I have Jamila now too, and I'm like, okay, it's encouraging to see other Black women who are just like getting it. And I'm like, I
Yeah,
love seeing the creativity that all of our that God gave us to put out there for the world to see. So, I can't wait. So keep me posted.
yes, I will.
Yes, I would love to bring that back too at some point in the future, and yeah, have that going for you, to share that part of it. But anyways, I'm gonna keep going because I got excited just by hearing that for you. If so if this new season of your life had a soundtrack, what song would definitely make the playlist?
Oh, is this song? It's called, and I want to say I think it's Layla Hathaway that sings it. It's called Mirrors. Yeah, I think it's Layla Hathaway. It's called Mirrors. And I'm like looking at it, looking it up on my phone. I think
Oh no,
it's
you're good.
her.
Take your time.
Yeah, it's Mirror by Layla Hathaway. Yes. I was like, almost for certain. But the song, like, I really, really like it because it's just that reminder of the mirror, your reflection, and just accepting, the person
Mhm.
that you see on the other end. And this is a song that I've listened to and I've cried while listening to it. There's times I've listened to it and it's just been like that extra step of empowerment that I needed for the day.
Yeah.
But that would be the soundtrack to just this space that
Okay.
I have been in, that I'm currently in. I listen to it. There are days where I listen to it on repeat on my 20-minute commute into my real life
Mhm.
job.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
because it's like a song of affirmations to me.
Yeah, it sounds like it. For 2 seconds I thought about the Justin Timberlake song Mirrors. I'm like, it ain't that song. Because he has a song called Mirrors too, but that's a different.
Uh-huh.
But another thing that I thought about when you described what mirrors mean to you is I just always see a painting of there's like this common painting of like a, let's say it's you looking in the mirror but you're looking at your old self or you're looking at the little girl of yourself. That's the
Mhm.
first thing that came to my head when you shared that. I was like, oh, that's pretty deep because
Yeah.
you seeing a different reflection, but it's like you grabbing that person's hand, which is you in the mirror, but it's your old self. And you're just like, hey, everything is gonna be okay, like this is you in the
Mhm.
future type of thing. It's kind of how I visualize my head.
Yeah,
Like,
one of the lines in a song says, "Sometimes you gotta make the mirror your best friend. Maybe
mhm.
then you'll find some peace within."
Yeah,
And it's like it's just a song like just full of like if you
deep
need
stuff. Yeah.
a 2-minute affirmation, every line in the song is definitely that. My
Yeah.
preference is the live version. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I like that. That's cool though. I love that. When you look back, what would you tell the younger version of yourself who is just beginning your chapter of like divorce?
I would tell my younger self again, embrace the journey and stop trying to control the journey.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've spent so much of my life and time trying to control things. Even when I had to accept that I was not in the right marriage, I was still trying to control the narrative, trying to control the
Mm-hmm.
journey
Mm-hmm.
of I'm married. Like you don't marry to divorce, but I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't happy
Mm-hmm.
in my marriage. And my ex-husband, like we mutually agree, like we both realized that what we wanted out of a what I wanted out of a husband
Right.
was not him and vice versa. So if I had
Mhm.
to say anything to my younger self, it would be embrace the journey and stop trying to
Mhm.
control the narrative.
Mhm. Mhm. I like that. Embrace the journey and just take it one day at a time as
Mhm.
well, too.
Yeah, one
One
moment at
step.
a
Yeah.
time.
One moment. That's even better. Because sometimes one day too much is what I tell myself.
Yeah.
Right, Elle. That's right. What message would you share with a woman who feels stuck or afraid to start over?
Choose yourself, choose your happiness.
Mhm.
That is key. The journal, Today I Choose Me. It's a guided journal. It's a weekly journal because again, sometimes when you feel stuck, it's hard to get
Yeah.
into that routine to journal every day. So I created that journal. It's a 1 week. So you can find time 1 day out of 7 days
Mhm.
to do the activity.
Mhm.
And it's an activity or journal prompt that forces you to choose yourself, whether it's creating a date night for yourself, whether it's creating your playlist for the week. So that's what I would say to anybody that's stuck. Choose yourself and choose your happiness.
Yeah, and choose your mental health as well. I
Mhm,
think that's really important too. Because sometimes, like you said earlier, as far as the like trying to have control of the situation or the narrative of what you thought or what you think that the narrative should be, but at the end of the day, God may want to put you somewhere else. I like
mhm,
to talk about God a lot, but He's trying to, put you on a different path. And although we can't see on the other side what that looks like, you got to trust that. Trust it as you move along. So,
exactly.
yeah, I like that. Get it, girls. Preach, Al. Preach, girl. Preach stuff. Okay. In a world that celebrates hustle, how do you remind yourself and others to slow down and breathe?
If you don't, your body will do it for you.
Hmm.
And I have learned that. I have been the person that's been on go, 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 go. And your body will shut down. So, something that I have learned and that I embrace in this space is the power of no. I speak no fluently.
That's right.
And I have accepted that no is the answer and the explanation instead
Hmm.
of, if I've been doing a lot of work travel. This
Yeah.
weekend, I don't want to do anything like
Hmm.
at all. I want
Hmm.
to catch up on my TV shows and not do anything. And I have had people that invite me to a lot of fall festivals and fall outings. And my answer has been no. It's no
Right.
reason why. It's just no. And I
Hmm.
am at peace with that.
Hmm.
And I think once you learn that, it'll help you balance out that hustle that you just feel like you just have to. Sometimes you
Yeah.
have to just say no because
Hmm.
I've been on the other end of just constantly trying to appease everybody, do everything, and my body has shut down.
Hmm.
'Cause it's been like,
Hmm.
no, like you need to just, as I like to say,
Rest.
peace be still.
Yeah.
Sit in your
Peace be
spirit and
still.
sit in your soul. So no, the
That's
art of
right.
no is how I remind myself.
Hmm.
And what I would say to others when you just need to sit down and breathe. No.
Hmm. And that's a good reminder too. I've talked to a couple other women actually who's having a hard time saying no. And I'm getting better at it myself too.
It
It's
takes
just
practice.
yeah, it's practice, but also I'm trying not to working on not explaining the why because I have a hard time doing that. Like because X, Y, and Z. They don't need to know that. No, I can't make it. Have a good day.
Yeah,
Something.
yeah, look at that. It's no with a period.
That's
No
right.
other
No,
explanation
no,
needed.
yeah, right.
No.
Okay, you're right. I'm gonna have to practice
Yeah.
that part because I'll
And then
be.
once I like fact and it is hard, but once I felt and started to embrace like not feeling the guilt behind it, because I also have in saying no, people will tell you no and that right?
Right. You're right. That's true.
So like
And don't
no,
even. I mean, not saying that they don't care, but it's like, no, I just can't.
yeah. Yeah, and it's like, so if I can accept when people say that to me, why can't they? So yeah, no period has become like, and when I really need to emphasize this, I say absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that really know me, they know if I get to absolutely not, they're like, okay, let me stop nudging. She is really like adamant that she's not
Mm-hmm.
budging. And I've become okay with that.
Mm-hmm. And that could be a podcast right there, or a some type of conversation with a whole bunch of women
Look,
and
let me write that down for season
yeah,
2.
go ahead and write that
The
down because
power
I
of
listen.
no.
Yeah, there we go. The power of no. I need because like with you practicing and you at where you at, I'm like I need to get where you at with that part because I tend to over explain. So,
Mhm.
anyways, how do you define choosing yourself today compared to when your healing first began?
I define it by giving myself grace.
Mhm.
And that was something that I also had to learn. So choosing myself today comes with me giving myself grace and me accepting that I'm accountable to myself first and
Mhm.
not other people.
Right.
And the old me, when I first began this, I felt like, again, with the no thing, I felt like I had to have an explanation or an excuse because I didn't want people
Mhm.
to judge me. I didn't want to seem like I wasn't being like a good friend, a good sister, or anything,
Right.
of that sort. So allowing myself grace, um, and then choosing myself again is also allowing myself to feel the feels. So
Mhm.
again, going back to if I'm just having a really bad day, allowing myself and choosing to sit in that space, but no more than 24 hours. So it's like I've
Yeah.
had to give my own self parameters and guidelines, and I have a 24
Mhm.
hour window.
Yeah.
24 hours to be upset, 24 hours to be angry because it's already happened.
Yeah. You're right.
Staying in it is only gonna make you more upset while whatever it is or whoever it is that angered you, they've gone on about themselves. They're laughing, having a good time, and you're just stuck.
Mhm.
So, but all of that comes with, again, realizing and giving myself grace. So
Mhm.
choosing myself today starts with allowing myself grace.
Man, I like and reminded when you continue to share to give myself 24 hours to feel the feelings and then just let it go, which I'm getting better at. I'm getting better
Mhm.
at. But sometimes I do feel myself getting stuck. It could be past trauma. It could be just me being a knucklehead, not wanting to move forward. But
Mhm.
that is really helpful for me to even process myself moving forward. So I thank you
But
for
even that, even with that, with like past trauma or things like that, in instances like that, um, again, like I journal about it, but I'm also one of those people that like when I have those moments and I just need to get it out, I'll journal about it,
sharing.
take a deep breath, and then I'll take that page and then rip it up. And it's something about like the act of like actually ripping it up. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
we're done with feeling this way.
Mhm.
And if it's
Mhm.
one of those things that like just continues to kind of keep coming up, that's when I turn it over to my therapist. Like they're the paid
True.
professional. Help me work
True.
through this
You're
because
right.
I know
Yeah.
at the end of the day, my end goal is I don't want to keep revisiting this because,
Mhm.
that's what I pay my therapist for. That's what, I pay them that copay for. Help me
Yeah.
work through this so that I don't
Really.
keep revisiting because, what I am doing on my own is not working. It's helping for that moment, but I keep coming back to it. So there's something a little bit deeper that I can't tap into because that's not
Right.
my skill set. I'm not trained in that way. So now
Yeah.
help me.
Yeah, you're right. And I've been through therapy a few times, so I definitely feel I'm at
Sometimes
a
you have to revisit it. I mean, recently, just being very transparent with myself, I've been divorced for 6 years. So, going through my divorce and immediately after I did all the work. But
yeah,
recently, I found myself in my therapy sessions revisiting things of my divorce. This year would have been 10 years that I would have been married. I
okay,
also found out that my ex-husband is remarrying, and it's like, while I don't want him, it's the concept of marriage, the principle of
true,
marriage. And
true.
because of that, like, I've had to revisit that in therapy to be like, "Hey, like, I've journaled
Mhm.
about this, and I've
Yeah,
done the things that I normally do, but it's like, this is coming back." And, I've allowed my therapist to, like, help me work through that. I mean, it's human nature that sometimes
true,
we go through things and it can be years that we're in a
true.
good space, but sometimes it resurfaces. But it's a
Mhm.
matter of, again, acknowledging it. And I'm a huge advocate for like therapy. Like,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that you're crazy, doesn't mean that
Mhm.
anything's wrong, but
Right.
sometimes you need a little bit more than a journal. Sometimes you need a little bit more than blast your, favorite song and just dance it out, or, sometimes you need that, again, that's what they're paid for, to allow you to kind of
Right.
dig deep and tap into things that you just don't get by trying to heal yourself, if that
True.
makes sense.
Oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Last time I was in therapy was in June, so I feel you on that. I feel you on that. And even
Yeah.
then, she was like, "You seem like you're okay." I'm like, "Girl, okay, let me switch to somebody else." That's what I like better. What is it? Better help. That's a good thing. Or go through whoever I have here in Wisconsin. So,
Mhm.
anyways, let me move on. Is there a quote or a mantra or even an affirmation that you live by that you would like to share with today's audience?
So there's a quote by it's a Black feminist writer and poet named Audre Lorde.
Okay.
And I actually have it on my computer. And it's, when I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid.
Mm, that's
And
good.
so that's something that I have, like, I created like a little sticker that's like on my computer, on my personal
Oh,
computer, it's on my work computer, it's in my planner, because I'm the type of person that sometimes I can deal with imposter syndrome. I can get in my head and not
mm,
do things because I am afraid. And what this quote reminds me is that I have this talent. It was given to me. This is my purpose. This is my calling. And don't be afraid. Like, use it. I mean, kind of like to what I said with relaunching the podcast. Your audience will find you.
right.
And if nothing else, it's a form of therapy for yourself. Again, better out than in. So that's
Mhm.
something that, again, I have it in several different places, so that when I find myself being afraid and like, nope, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to tap into this because of being afraid. And it's like, no, you have been given this tool and this skill set for a reason. So,
Right. Use those gifts by God for a reason, y'all.
yeah.
Keep that in mind. How do you continue walking in your transformation daily?
Again, just wanting to choosing happiness, choosing myself. That is the constant reminder for me to continue on this path, to continue. I didn't do all the work 6 years ago to kind of go back to that
Right.
to
True.
that place.
That's facts. How about we get a 100 sticker on here? I wish we could do. Why don't Zoom have that? Put 100s. People be like, that's right. Anyway,
All the little emojis pop up.
how do you celebrate last couple questions? How do you celebrate small victories along your journey? Along your journey.
I celebrate small victories by treating myself. I have recently got into Lego. Um, and
Okay.
so I celebrate the wins by buying me a Lego set. I
Okay.
also celebrate wins. I guess this one is like a combo. It's like celebrating wins and also reset moments.
Mhm.
I have a standing appointment to get my nails and my toes done.
There
And
you go, girl.
And it's like, during that time, I don't answer my phone, I don't get on social media, but I use that time when I'm there, especially like when I'm getting my pedicure, just to kind of like just really reflect on the good things. So I've kind of used, kind of like a self-maintenance thing that I enjoy, and
Mhm.
using that time as like, let's go through the list of like all the positive things. During my time, I don't think of the things that upset me. I just only think of like, okay, here's the things that I got accomplished this week. So that, and then yeah, Lego. Lego is a little bit expensive. I didn't realize how expensive of a hobby that is, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
use that
A
more
lot
so
of
to
people buy
celebrate
them.
my big wins.
Yeah. No, that's all right. But if that's what gets you tuned in, I'm like, this is just me and my Lego right now. Not right now, and just do your thing.
Uh-huh.
I love that. And I miss getting my nails done when you said those. Like, oh my, I haven't got my nails done in so long. So I should probably and do that at some point.
Yeah,
When
it's a part of my budget.
there you go. Yeah, it's. I mean, I have nail stuff here at home. I just don't even utilize it. I don't know. It was during COVID season. That's why I was trying to switch up. And now I'm
Mhm.
like, I just want somebody else to do it. I don't feel like doing
Yeah,
this. It's not relaxing to me. It's actually kind of stressful when I'm trying to do it myself. So I'm like, whatever. But when that time comes, I will go to the nail salon and yeah, the place I was going to was pretty chill. So, anyways, let me ask you this last question as we wrap up here. What does walking through life mean to you in your own words?
Walking through life in my own words means, again, I feel like this is kind of choosing myself, choosing my happiness, choosing my peace.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Choosing
like
L.
that
That's it.
simple.
Yeah. No, that's good. And then I'm sure that a lot of people can relate to that. So I know I personally can as well. And peace. If you, I just told somebody, told people on alive. I don't think it was on my page or on somebody else's page, but I was like, if you don't got peace within your home, you should probably have some conversations because that's where it should be most peaceful in your own home.
It should be
So
most peaceful in your own home because you can't control work. You
nope,
can't control what happens to you when you're in the grocery store
nope,
or driving on the highway. You
that's
can't
right,
control that. But
right,
home is the one place where, again, while I am trying to learn to balance not being in control of everything, but
yeah.
that peace that you get at home
Mm-hmm.
is everything.
I was gonna say ooh la la, but I'm like that don't quite fit this theme. But I'm like, let me just maybe I should be quiet. There we go, peace. I don't know. Maybe I'm being silly. Anyways, girl. Anyways, thank you so much, Elle. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out here. What an incredible conversation that we had with you today. Your story reminds us that healing doesn't always look like a straight path, okay? And sometimes it's made of small rituals, brave choices, and gentle reminders that we are enough and we choose us first. As we
Yeah.
close, I hope we take a page from Elle's journey and remember this: you can begin again at any time. You can choose peace, as we just talked about, joy, and loving yourself. That is a great theme for today. Again and again. If today's conversation inspired you and you love to share your story of transformation, I'd love to have you join me on a future episode of Transformational Tuesday. Simply comment Transformational Tuesday or Transform below, and I'll personally reach out to you with the link to sign up and get you scheduled in. Be sure to connect also with Elle on Instagram at Single Girls Woes podcast, and show her some love for the wisdom she shared tonight. Thank you for tuning in and being part of the Transformational Tuesday community where we share, heal, and grow together. Until next time, loves, stay tuned for stay the course, and keep walking in your transformation, guys. Bye, everybody. Have a blessed day.